Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Skills and Abilities. Today we're going to be looking at a rather simple skill, and there's really not a lot to talk about it, so don't be surprised with if it's a very short video, because it very well might be. This is the ability Natural Resistance. So Natural Resistance is actually one of the only abilities in the game that just simply gives resistances for free. I mean, it's literally a passive ability that just gives you massive amounts of resistances, and even with just 1 point in it, it still gives you a pretty decent amount with plus to skills. But I'd like to go over this without plus to skills, so let's go ahead and rip away all of my equipment real quick. And I'm going to show you kind of like the path that this particular takes. So let me take off all of my doojinks here. So at level 1, it gives you a very meager 12% resistance. 12% isn't a whole lot, but it's still enough to counter some of your negative resistances in hell. And with just a couple points, you'll notice it goes up to a very nice 21, then 28, then 35, then 40, 44, 47, and so forth and so on. And before too long, it's actually doing pretty good at like 54, 55%. Now, the problem is that eventually it gets to the point where it has some pretty severe diminishing returns. And the first set of severe diminishing returns is level 21. So at level 21, it actually doesn't give you any more resistances. And I'm going to show you this here. Let me go ahead and add on my Bull Kathos. And you'll see that at level 21, we have 68%, right? So surely level 22 is 69%, right? But when we add on our Maras, which is +2, our skill only goes to, well, it's still 68%. So we didn't gain anything. We gained nothing for an additional point. And then if we add another plus to skill, we finally go to 69. So each time you go up in levels past level 20, it starts to get even more diminishing than it was before. At around level 27, it hits 72%, and then at 28, it's still 72%. And at 29, it's still 72%. And at level 30, it's still 72%. And then finally at level 31, it hits 73%, and it stays 73% at level 32. At level 33, it goes to 74%, and it stays at 74% for quite some time. At level 34, it's still 74%, and at level 35, it's still 74%. So no matter how many plus to skills you get after level 20, it goes up very minimally, and a lot of the times it doesn't even go up at all, which is really quite unfortunate. And the maximum that you could probably ever get it is probably something like level 50. If you were like really stacking skills and you had like mastery charms and everything. And at that point, it goes up to 78% at its highest possible amount. Now, the thing about natural resistances, though, is that because of these severe diminishing returns, most people will not stack points in it because it's not really worth it. And usually you end up with enough plus to skills that even just 1 point is usually enough to do a pretty hefty amount for your character. For instance, let me just go ahead and drop some points here in my my strength so I can actually wear my equipment. And you'll notice that I'm already at level 6, which is 44%. So a couple points in here, maybe bringing it up to about 61%. I only put about 9 base points, and I'm already at 61. And it doesn't really get much better, unless I want to hit that magical number 69. Oh, 69. But to do that, I would need to throw in 18 points, which is pretty way too much, in my opinion. It's way too much. And you don't really get a huge amount of benefit by dumping that many points into it. You would get much better benefit putting it somewhere else. But it definitely is a very effective 1-point wonder, and it's also pretty good if you want to put a couple more points into it. I wouldn't dump 20 into it, but it's definitely worth a couple to reach that point of diminishing returns. And there's really no other character in the game that has such an amazing little thing like this. No other character has the whole free resistances gambit. And barbarians literally get away with murder because, quite honestly, they just have so much nice equipment that they can put on that doesn't really have good resistances, and they don't really have to worry about it because they've got that massive bonus from their own natural resistance ability. Not only do they have natural resistance, they've also got iron skin, which also brings up their defense. They bring up their run speed with increased freaking speed, and then they also bring up their stamina too. They got everything covered here as far as like free stuff. In fact, most people will always put at least 1 point in increased stamina, increased speed, iron skin, and natural resistance, because you literally are, I hate to say this, but you're literally stupid if you don't on a barbarian, because that's how good they are. Like, they are literally that good that just 1 point in each one of them is a no-brainer for any build that you're going to do on a barbarian. It's basically free defense, free resistances, and free run walk speed, and who cares about increased stamina? But you have to put 1 point in increased stamina to get to increased speed. And it allows you to run around faster. Who doesn't like running around faster? Everybody likes running around faster. I think that's pretty much it for this ability. Like I said, it was probably going to be a short one. As always, thanks for watching, and keep watching.